Thanks for joining us on this last edition of the Pittsburgh Community Show. I'm Alexis Arenas Andrade.
And I'm Libby Shea. On this episode, we got to look into all the different parks that Pittsburgh has to offer.
And later in the show, we take a look at our photographer whose passion started off by looking at the night sky.
But first, let's start off by looking at what the Pittsburgh Parks and Rec has to offer to the community. Kim Vogel is the director of the Parks and Recreation Department within Pittsburgh, Kansas. Some of the few responsibilities within her position includes budgeting, supervises superintendents who supervise the rest of the staff, grant work, donation requests, and also a lot of fires to put out throughout the day with whatever comes up within the parks, facilities, or with patrons. Her busy schedule keeps her on her toes, continually trying to make the community great and enjoyable for local patrons. There are also many parks within Pittsburgh, 14 to be exact, and is definitely more than most people would expect for a small town like Pittsburgh, Kansas.
The largest park obviously here is in Lincoln Park, where our offices are housed. We have the 18-hole golf course, we've got 8-ball fields, we've got the disc golf course and the aquatic center, and the J.J. Richards Band Dome, all here in Lincoln Park. And then Schlinger Park obviously has a 18-hole disc golf course also, and houses Catherine's Playground, which is our first complete handicap accessible playground, and has a drain and fill toddler pool in it. So it's another large park that we have. And then Lakeside Parks kind of rounds out our biggest parks that people are really familiar with. It's obviously just housed OK Kids Day last weekend and has the lake in the middle of it, and playgrounds and shelters there and tennis courts. We also have Wilderness Park, which has acres of land for people to go out and walk trails and bike, and 23rd Street Bike Park, another unique park for biking. And then the downtown parks, Miners Memorial, Immigrant Park, Europe Park, and Trailhead Park, all nice additions to our downtown, plus then all the pocket parks throughout the city.
Summer is coming up fast, and this is a great time for the Pittsburgh community to come together and be involved in fun community activities put on through the Parks and Recreation Department.
We have camp now and then that runs really throughout the year, but then in the summer it's a full-time camp for children. It's 10-week camp from 7:30 to 5:15, and here in Lincoln Park. And they do go to West Side for lunch every day, and we do crafts and outdoor activities and games with them. So it's a nice all-day camp for kids. We have Cow Creek Bluegrass Festival coming up in June, and the 4th of July celebration. So those are our big events in the summer. We also offer tennis lessons, swimming lessons, golf lessons. So there's a lot going on, soccer camp, a lot going on throughout the summer to keep everybody busy. And obviously the aquatic center opens Memorial Weekend, so it gets very busy around the parks.
Ever since the economy started regressing, there has been an outdoor trend causing people not to travel as much. Since then, their department has seen an increasing amount of people utilizing their parks.
Really, we have some generations coming up now that really like to be outdoors and be active and be walking and biking. And in Pittsburgh, we're extending our walking and biking trails, so that's been very exciting over the last few years, and we've seen people utilizing those. So definitely increase of users in the park.
There are also new renovations planned for parks in Pittsburgh to help build a quality of life within the community.
We had 2 parcels of land donated just south of J.C. Ballpark. Just south of J.C. Ballpark. And we're looking at turning those into walking trails. And then we are looking at adding a dog park here in Lincoln Park. So some exciting new features coming up.
Pittsburgh Parks and Recreation is unique due to all the different parks offered for a town populating only 20,000 people. They also run many successful activities for the short amount of staff that they have, and have a lot of great plans for the future. For more information, you can visit the city's website at pitks.org. For the Pittsburgh Community Show, I'm Libby Shea. The Pittsburgh Aquatic Center is opening Memorial Day weekend for anyone who is staying in Pittsburgh during the summer. Stick around, we'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Community Show. I'm joined by Shelly Grimes. She's the Pittsburgh State dance coach, and she also works for the Red Cross. So Shelly, can you tell me a little bit more about what you do for the Red Cross?
Well, I am an American Red Cross instructor, and I really focus more on aquatics training and CPR, first aid, AED training. I represent the Southeast Kansas area, and this time of the year is probably the busiest time of the year for me because all the kids are trying to get their lifeguard certifications. But I do instruct a lot of the local kids or students that are going to be working at area pools in Southeast Kansas.
Okay, so what do the lifeguards have to do within their training?
Okay, so to be a lifeguard with the American Red Cross, it's a 2-year certification. So the kids have to go through what's called a prerequisite test initially, which means they have to swim 300 meters utilizing their freestyle stroke or their breaststroke. And then they have to dive down to the bottom of the pool and pick up a 10-pound brick and then swim it back to the edge and then climb out of the pool in order to pass their pre-test. And then after the pre-test, then they spend, depending on if they're recertifications or first times, they can spend anywhere from 9 to 28 hours in the water doing water rescues, CPR training, first aid training. So they are actually qualified to be up in the stand at a city pool.
So how long do they get to keep their certification?
It's a 2-year certification, and after their 2 years is up, then they can find either myself or another Red Cross instructor and get recertified. Which basically is just kind of a refresher course, refreshing them on their skills, on backboarding, their jumps, their rescues, and then they can get a recertification and they're ready to go again.
Awesome. So where could someone find more information?
Well, you can always go to AmericanRedCross.org, or you can contact me here at Pittsburgh State University and I can kind of get you in the right direction.
Okay, perfect. Well, thanks for joining us, Shelly. We'll be right back.
From the simple concepts of brotherhood, scholarship, and character, a group of men framed a legacy that has opened the doors for opportunity and growth. And with that came symbols that define us and traditions that carry on through the years. From one leader to another, their leadership to our fraternity has proved to be invaluable. These are the men of Phi Sigma Kappa. Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Community Show. I'm here in studios with Christian Meyer, a senior here at Pittsburgh State University who studies business management and marketing. Thank you, Christian, for being here on the show.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So the first topic that we want to talk about is what you do in the outdoors. Can you kind of explain what you do in that nature?
Yeah, I've been mountain biking for about the past 2 or 3 years, and I've been snowboarding in the other season for about the past 2 years.
Okay, cool. So have you gone on any bike trails here in Pittsburgh, Kansas?
Yes, I've been out on 23rd Street.
Do you like it, or is it difficult, or is it easy for you?
It's not bad. There's a dirt jump track that's a little bit more challenging, something I've not really been used to, but it definitely pushes a new skill set of mine.
That's nice. Do you plan on going anywhere and developing these skills outside of Pittsburgh, Kansas?
Yes, I actually plan on spending my summer out in Crested Butte, Colorado, doing a lot of that. Kind of just on the weekends, just really focusing on stuff that I have to improve on.
That's awesome. How did you get this position, or how are you going there?
I got hired as a lodging intern, so I'll be doing laundry and housekeeping on the weeks, and then on the weekends I'll be throwing myself down a mountain, but I'll be driving out there on June 1st.
Awesome. So aside from biking, you also do snowboarding?
Yeah.
Okay, explain a little bit how you got into that and why you kind of like it.
I was watching a lot of videos and I tried it, and it was difficult for me, and that posed a personal challenge of mine, and I decided I'm gonna get this down one way or another, and I did, and it turned out to be one of the most fun things I have to do when everyone else hates the snow. I get a little bit more excited than them.
So out of 10, how much do you like it?
It's about an 8 or 9.
8 or 9. How long have you spent like kind of researching snowboarding or anything that has to do with that sport?
About the past couple of years.
Okay.
'Cause it's pretty expensive, so I try and see where I can cut corners or where everyone else is cutting corners.
So let's just say you're a nature man per se, right?
Yeah. I still have a lot to learn, but yeah.
Yeah. So do you prefer mountain biking or snowboarding? Or is that difficult to decide?
It used to be difficult, but I think that I'm a little more comfortable on a bike. I feel like there's a little bit more control. I can have a little bit more fun with it, but I'm a little bit more of a better rider on that than I am with snowboarding. I think that's why.
Is it the control aspect that kind of sways you one way or the other? Because I don't know, I've never done both of these things, so I don't know. Because I mean, being in control of what you're on is, I guess, a big part of kind of being comfortable with the sport, right?
Yeah. I think it's that. I think that there's also different dangers that come along with snowboarding that I'm not used to. Spending time here in Kansas City and Pittsburg, Kansas, I'm not really used to having to worry about how snow is packed and how that could affect whether or not I make it down the mountain in an ambulance or on my own.
Okay.
And but I think that it's just something that I can take anywhere, regardless of if there's a mountain or snow. There's always going to be a place for a bike.
Gotcha. So would you recommend the parks here or to go out and do some mountain biking or stuff like that here in Pittsburg, Kansas?
Yeah. The volunteers that help maintain it, I realize that they're busy, but there's that dirt jump track is it really shows a completely new side of biking that I think a lot of people don't realize is there. And yeah, I can have a good time out there for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Christian, for joining me on this episode. Really appreciate it, man.
No problem.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, we'll have more after the break. Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Community Show. I had the opportunity to sit down with a Pittsburgh State University senior to see where his passion for nature photography started.
When you go and you have an objective and you have a goal and then you leave with a product, that to me is what is rewarding, and that's kind of why I do it.
Matthias Kuhl, a senior in public relations, is taking his newfound passion of photography into the wilderness.
What I do, it's mostly outdoor nature stuff, landscapes, and then outdoor natural light.
One starry night caught his attention, and that's when he put to good use his camera lens.
Rolled out of bed at 4 a.m. and I drove for like an hour to go see the Milky Way. Brought the tripod, and then I got my first Milky Way shot. I would never do that on my own, so I realized, well, that's different. When did I start doing that? And then I realized that photography kind of does that thing.
The eagerness to expand his nature photography skills has taken him into various states around the U.S., one being Arkansas.
Arkansas is awesome. I haven't really explored the whole state, but I spent a lot of time in the Ozarks, waterfalls, Hawksbill Crag, Indian Creek, Buffalo River, all those areas.
Even though Mr. Cole won't be receiving a degree in photography, he has turned this hobby into a lifestyle.
It's just what I like to do. For now, it's what I have, and I'm exploring that option as well as exploring the outdoors, so we'll see where it takes me.
For the Pittsburgh Community Show, I'm Alexis Arenas Andrade.
Wow, he's a really talented photographer.
He definitely is. Don't forget to check out the 14 different parks that the Pittsburgh community has to offer.
Signing off for the last time, I'm Libby Shea.
And I'm Alexis Arenas Andrade.
Thanks for watching the Pittsburgh Community Show.